audio is clear, do let me know, inshallah. If it is not, then probably can hear this. If you can hear me, let me know. Alhamdulillah, the audio is good. That's good to hear. So today I'll be mentioning to you something that should have been mentioned a very long time ago. Something that should have been mentioned by those proclaimed to be people of knowledge and people of wisdom. It should have been mentioned a long time ago that the fiat currency system, the fiat currency monetary system, is nothing more than an illusion. It's a lie, it's a deception. They should have said that from the beginning. They should have never told you about Islamic rulings on something that's an illusion, that's not there. But instead, due to their ignorance and them not possessing knowledge in this matter, they went ahead and started to give rulings built upon an illusion. Imagine building a house with no foundations, and you try to build the roof with no foundations. Surely the roof is going to topple and fall down, correct? Yes. That's why these people that give these rulings on something that's an illusion, their rulings topples down and falls over because it's not based on any solid foundations. It's based on a matter that's an illusion, that does not exist, that isn't as it seems to be. When you start to give rulings on something that isn't as it is claiming to be, then you are going to fall down in despair and broken, and you're going to topple down like the roof that has no foundations. They lied to you and told you about interest, this and this is halal, and this investment is halal, and Islamic financing. All of that, they've lied to you in all of those affairs. In all of those affairs, they've lied to you. They've tried to build this thing which is Islamic finances based on a fiat currency monetary system that is an illusion, that appears to be money, when in reality it's not money. It's nothing more than a game. It's an illusion. It's a game. Monopoly wasn't made because it's just a little game for kids. It was made because that's the real financial system, whether you like it or not. It's a monopoly game, whether you like it or not. Okay? And I'll try not to get angry, because this is a tool that's behind so much corruption, but then there's not clarity on this matter because the people haven't spoken about it in the truthful manner they should have been speaking about it. And so I'll try not to get angry. I'll try not to get angry, even though I am rightful for being angry at so many people in this world. But I guess to them is their way, and I will have to clarify it. And hopefully Allah will forgive me, and hopefully I will be rewarded for it. Okay? Islamic finance. Why? You know, they say there's this Islamic mortgage, and they try to make things Islamic. You know, Wahid Invest, and all these things that they try to show to you, and there's Islamic. Why is it that the people laugh at them, and they say, listen, you guys just call it Islamic mortgage, but you're still dealing with interest. You call it mortgage, you're still dealing with interest. You call it this, you're still dealing with a fiat they get laughed at. The disbelievers laugh at these people. The so-called, the Islamic stock market. They say, oh, don't invest in this company because it's not halal, but you can invest in this company because it's halal. You're still dealing with a fiat currency system, which is an illusion. And I will clarify, number one, how it's an illusion. And number two, I will clarify how it's not even a thing. It's nothing. It has no value. Value, okay, it doesn't matter whether all of the people are forced to use this fiat currency, it still has no value whatsoever. It has zilch. That's why one of their own people said that fiat currency eventually returns back to its original state, i.e. nothing. The paper that you have in your hand is actually worth nothing. It's a piece of paper, whether you like it or not. It's a piece of paper with words written on it and pictures drawn on it. Doesn't matter. It's a piece of paper. Or maybe polymer now, if you're in the UK. Plastic. It's a plastic polymer. That's all it is. So I'll show and I'll expose how it's an illusion. It's not even a thing that has any value. Imagine someone building Islamic finance and Islamic rulings on something that has no value. They are talking and wasting their time on something that has no value. Can you fathom people that are supposedly seen as people of knowledge gathering around a table discussing issues on a matter that has no value? And it should be of no surprise why the Muslim Ummah is in the state that it is in, because the supposed people that they are supposed to look up to, the ones that are proclaimed to be those of knowledge and leadership, are wasting their time speaking about something that has no value. And again, I'll try not to get angry. You need to understand that once upon a time, my brother and my sister, the world used to deal with gold. And even when they had paper currencies, it was still backed by gold. Something tangible, something valuable, something that has value and worth. But in America, after World War II, what did America do? Do you know what America did? They left the gold standard, because the currency, the American currency in the past, used to be in gold, used to be backed by gold. But because America had so much debt to deal with, and they couldn't control the monetary system, because it's gold. Gold is not owned. Gold is real money. And because they couldn't control the debt, they couldn't control the monetary system, do you know what they said? We are leaving the gold standard. So your dollars, okay, is worth nothing now. In the past, it was worth gold, something valuable, something that central banks can't print, they can't control, they can't, deceive you concerning. They left the gold standard and they gave people paper money. And then country after country after country after country started to leave the gold standard. America were the ones who set the standard for this fiat currency system that you are living in today. They set it. They set it up. Why did they set it up? Because they were in debt. So when you remove gold, something that has value and worth that you can't just print, you remove that and you now have the power to just print money, what is going to happen to your debt? Let's say the American government, there's 5 trillion debt that they owe you, okay? 5 trillion debt. Well, you know what the American government can do? They can just print 5 trillion. Does that mean that debt ever existed? Does that mean that debt ever existed? No, it doesn't mean the debt ever existed. Do you know why? Because the American US dollar does not exist. It's worthless. It has no value. Once upon a time it had value. Once upon a time it had worth. The moment they left the gold standard, they are able to print off the amount they need for their debt. So does debt ever exist? Imagine I have taken $5 million from you. say, bro, give me my 5 million, you owe me 5 million. And then I go to my little printing machine and I print 5 million and then I give you 5 million. Does that mean there was any debt? Because I can just print whatever I want. I can print as much as I like. Is the voice audible? I'm going to ask once more, just so it's clear. So America is in debt. And what does America do when they're in debt? They go and print money. So what's the point of debt? Debt has no meaning. It has no value. It has no worth. What worth and value does it have when all you have to do is just go to the printing machine, print 5 trillion, there you go. The debt is finished somehow. No, it's not. It's a deception. So how can you and me start talking about debt? Okay, how can we sit around the table and speak about the Islamic rulings on debt, on something that has no value whatsoever? How can you and me speak about Islamic rulings on debt that is based on something that has no value, no worth whatsoever? Go and look it up. What is the United States dollar backed by? It's backed by nothing. They say it's backed by the hope of the people. That's nothing. So America can somehow pay their own debt by printing. But the moment you try to print, my brother, you are a criminal. How dare you try print money like we print money? How dare you do that? You're a criminal. I'm a criminal. But that's what you're doing. So you're the criminal. Yes, you are the criminal. How dare you call me a criminal for printing money and doing the same thing that you're doing? Because you are a criminal. The American state is the biggest criminal. And all those central banks that print money are criminals as well. And there are governments and there are countries that are going to favor bankers to print money in comparison to you. Go. Supposedly this is a Muslim country, yeah? They supposedly are a Muslim country. When it comes to the bank printing money, halal, thumbs up. The moment you dare try print money, you're a criminal, you're a mujrim, you need to be put in prison. How dare you defraud us? But you're defrauding us by printing money and devaluing everything that's supposed to have value. Ask yourself the question, why do the banks have one rule and you have another rule? Why do the rules favor the bank and they don't favor you? For what reason? To take control over you and your affairs. That's the only purpose of the bank. The bank is not there to just look after your money and, just help and protect you. No. They have laws that favor them. They have laws that favor them. And they are a separate entity compared to you. If you work for the Bank of International Settlement, the BIS, the central bank of all the world central banks, do you not know you will have a unique status in Switzerland? Or you will have a unique status when you go to different countries. You will have favors because of this card that you have. Guys, look, I work for the BIS. I'm from the BIS. I'm here for the BIS. They get favors. But you go show your little passport, your British passport, your US passport, you're just seen as another person. If you work for the United Nations, you will have the United Nations laissez, whatever it's called, the passport. You go show them, look, United Nations, you get treated differently because there are different laws for people that are officials for the United Nations and officials for governments and officials for the Bank of International Settlement. But the moment you show your little passport, you are not on the same level that they are. How have we ever accepted a time when some group of people are elevated than the other people? For what? Just because they're part of the agenda and you're not. They are a part of a group and you're not. They favor themselves and they don't favor you. But there are supposedly people of knowledge that are going to sit around the table and discuss something that has no value whatsoever. They say riba and interest. Oh, riba and interest, riba and interest. Oh, they cry. They say, don't get involved in this. Is going to have interest. They cry and they're emotional and they say, you're going to wage war against Allah. This is riba. This is what you're doing. This is mortgage is haram and this is haram and this is haram. But you will never hear from him. The financial system is based upon interest and it's based upon debt. It's based upon an illusion. It's based upon nonsense. It's based upon a lie that fiat currency is money when in reality it's not. You will never hear him be emotional in that regards. Why? Because he's ignorant, number one. And that's the best thing that could be said about him. Or he's either an agent who is pushing the same agenda as the disbelievers. That is it. You will never find him emotional. He says interest, interest, interest. But what about creating money out of nothing? What about going to a printer and writing a number on a screen and pressing enter? You're talking about interest. How about we talk about this interest? They literally are creating something out of nothing. Is that not what interest is? Is that not what you're getting angry about? You're getting angry and emotional because there's an increase in something that shouldn't. Is that not what you're angry about? Oppression. Interest is oppressive to the people. It's oppressive to the people. Is there not a greater oppression than the fiat currency that is paying people this fiat currency to create bombs and kill people and annihilate people and humiliate them and enslave the people and impoverish the people and make them poor? Is that not what oppression is? Is that not why riba is haram? Because it's oppressive. The entire financial system is oppressive, but I never ever see you getting emotional about it. And I never see you crying about it. And I never see you rebuking it. But you will rebuke, on top, if you do this and you get that, and if you get that money from there and you get this. It's all a facade. You're angry over nothing. You're emotional over nothing. You're saying something's haram when it's not even a thing. It doesn't even exist. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. There is no such thing as debt when I have the ability to just print my own money. Remember that. There is no such thing as debt when I have the ability to print my own money. Debt does not exist. Whether you like it or not. You can tell your sheikh this, you can tell your brother this, you can tell your parents this, you can tell your neighbor this. Debt does not exist when I have the ability to print my own money. Go look at it. They literally left the gold standard because they wanted to control the monetary system. This guy is getting emotional about these little things, okay? When he is, from the foundation, he's being shackled, controlled. Imagine you see someone, his arms are chained, his legs are chained, yes? But then he's going to cry because of something over there. That's not even there. You say this person is crazy, majnoon, but certain people are going to say this person's an alim, and he's knowledgeable, and he's someone that's supposed to be looked up to. But you and I don't see the same thing. You and I don't see the same thing. I'll give you an example, a written example, just to reinforce the point. Reinforce the point, yeah? America has a $5 trillion debt. Okay? You have a $5 trillion debt. Wow, 5 trillion. Do you know how many years it would take you to get 5 trillion, my brother? Thousands and thousands. You know, you're earning maybe $50,000 a year. Maybe you're earning $40,000. Maybe you're earning $100,000 a year, my brother. Do you know how long it would take you to pay that 5 trillion debt? Thousands and thousands and thousands of years. America, print 5 trillion. Boom! You're like, wow. What America can do in one day, you can never do in 10,000, 20,000 years, my brother, whether you like it or not. What America can do in one day, you can never do in 10, 20,000 years, because they control this whole game that people are playing. Okay? They control the game. They've made the game. They're playing the game, and they control the game. You will never beat them at the game. So they can print 5 trillion in one day. In one day. You won't even sniff 5 trillion even if you were to live 10,000 years. You will not sniff it. You will not sniff it. So this is what happens. They print 5 trillion in one day and they're like, oh, take the 5 trillion. But now what's happened? The 5 trillion is still there, okay, in debt. It's still in circulation, okay. It's still in circulation. And now there's a new 5 trillion that's been pumped into circulation, okay. Pumped into circulation. Remember, they had a 5 trillion debt, which was somewhere around in this mystical world, you know, this illusion that we're in, yeah? Then they print 5 trillion, and now there's 10 trillion. What this actually does, yeah, is it devalues, which is funny because it has no value. Remember, the value is just given to it, it's just added onto it, it's just a facade. But it devalues the dollars in circulation. In circulation. And then what they say is that it increases inflation. Increases inflation. And inflation is a tool to impoverish the people. Okay? Inflation impoverishes the people. Impoverishes. So this is what inflation is, yeah? The government have now pumped 5 trillion, new $5 trillion into the economy. And what that's going to do is the asset prices, so bread, water, housing, transport, houses itself, cars, you name it, electronics, yeah, all these things, when inflation increases, the value of all these things compared to the dollars, it's going to increase. The food is going to increase in pricing, okay, food increases in price, the houses increases in price, and the general person has to now pay more. The general person now has to pay more because of inflation. Why? Because the government or the central bank were 5 trillion in debt, and now to pay that so-called debt, which doesn't exist, they put 5 trillion, which inadvertently affects all the people because it increases the prices on everything. Imagine you have a debt, my brother, but your debt, by dealing with your debt, everyone else is harmed. How does that make sense? This is your own debt. It should only harm you, but it doesn't. It's not like that in this game. In this game, all of this is fake anyways. But what is real is the prices of everything going up for the general person, making that person poorer. And the person's going to say, like, everything has gone up, food has gone up, transport's gone up. But the miskeen, what the miskeen doesn't understand is that something else has gone down. Whilst the prices of all these things have gone up, something else has gone down. The miskeen doesn't know. Do you know what the thing that is? The thing that has decreased in value, so-called value, is the currency that he's using. The currency he is using. The US dollar, the euro, the GBP, you know, the yen, you name it. The currency that he's using is devalued. So it's not that these things have now increased in their value. They always remain the same. If you were to buy one bread in gold, is again the same thing. One bread in gold is the same 1,400 years will still get you one bread in gold. But the reason why all these things are expensive, allegedly expensive, is because the fake value that was put to this currency has devalued, which inadvertently makes everything that this is attached to increase in prices. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So the debt, which never existed, because the currency never existed, which is actually has no value, it's zero, has now affected the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You want to speak to me about the Islamic rulings on debt? Well, I tell you, debt doesn't exist in this financial system. There's nothing financial about it as well. You know the Federal Reserves, they call themselves Federal Reserve, yeah? Federal Reserve. Go on Google and write what is a federal and write what is a reserve. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor is it a reserve, whether you like it or not. And they say financial system. It's not financial in the least. It's nothing more than an illusion to control the people, to impoverish them, to sacrifice their most precious thing that they have. One of the most precious things that they have in this worldly life. And what is that? It is none other than time. Imagine the people's time is being exchanged for something that has no value whatsoever. Is that not slavery? I'm going to ask you that question. Is that not slavery? When we are all working to earn this currency that has no value, we're working, we're putting real value. What is it? Your strength. It is your mind, it is your intellect, it is your sweat that you're putting into this for in exchange something that has no value. Is that not slavery? I'll ask you again, is that not slavery? So in inflation, everything goes up, the prices of bread, everything goes up, and then it devalues the currency. Now, whilst the general population, like thousands of people are crying because now they've become poorer, you know who's laughing? The bank is laughing. The bank is laughing because inflation, which they themselves have caused, by printing so much money, is something that they themselves benefit from. This is how they benefit. Banks, they have a lot of assets, i.e. they have houses, for example, properties. When inflation went up, their asset prices went up. So when they want to sell it to the masses, to the people, the dumb ones that don't understand the thing, the people are actually going to pay an increase. So they're like, thank you very much. Now, because the currency is devalued currency, let's say their debt, the bank's debt is, let's say, 5 million, and the currency is being devalued by a certain percentage. That 5 million goes down certain percentage, whatever the percentage of inflation is, certain percentage. So their debt has now become cheaper. The debt has become cheaper, even though it's not debt. It's all one game. I don't like using these words because these words are to be used in real things, not in something that's fake like the financial system of today. It's a game. So the debt is cheaper. So because the debt is cheaper, it's not worth as much. And because the asset and all the asset prices have gone up, they make bank. And that's why they are the banks. They're making bank out of people's stupidity and foolishness. Monopoly is not just a game. It's real life, whether you like it or not. It's real life. The person that made Monopoly is trying to tell you something. That this whole financial system is a game. Whether you like it or not, you being so serious over a game is nothing short of stupidity and foolishness and foolery, whether you like it or not. Allah understand. Allah understand. So the financial system of today, I don't like to use the word financial. There's nothing financial about it. It's nothing short of a game. It's an illusion, has no value. It's nothing. But look at how many people are going to slave away for it, and how many people are going to kill for it, and how many people are going to split away from their spouses because of it, and how many people are going to ruin their relationships with their families because of it, and how many lives are going to be killed because of it, and how many people are going to be humiliated because of it. The financial system is behind the killings of your children, the killings of your brothers and your sisters. It's behind the propaganding machine that is outside constantly 24/7, that is diverting the minds of the people, and it is behind the media and the tools that are misleading the masses and turning them away from the truth and making them doubt their religion and harm the hereafter severely. The financial system is behind the enslavement of the people. It is behind the impoverishing of the nations and making them poorer every single year, because every single year, whether you like it or not, your currency devalues. They say that the GBP, the US dollar, these currencies have been devalued already 98%. Since the inception of this idea, it's already gone down 98%. So what you could afford when it started compared to what you can afford today is not the same. You are 98% poorer if you stayed in their system. If you stayed in their system, you are 98% poorer, whether you like it or not. Lebanon, and I've spoken about Lebanon many times, overnight the bank devalued the currency. Overnight, devalued overnight. So the person who worked 50 years, overnight, it's worth only working for 20 years. 30 years that this person has been slaving away, yes? Boom! It has shown the reality to him. He's crying. All his millions that he saved up, he's crying. He's like, I saved so much millions. Now it's worth nothing. And I tell him, oh, granddad, why are you crying? 50 years you were working for something that was nothing. You should be happy you still have the 30. Because that's all. It was all for nothing, whether you like it or not. If the bank wants to devalue 100%, the 50 years that you're working becomes as if it was 0 years. 0 years. 0. Just because the bank in one day, just feels like, you know what, let's devalue the currency. 50 years that you're working. So your sheikh is crying because of interest and riba, and he's crying because this business is haram, and you know, this process is haram. But you will not see him crying about how people who have been working 50 years and slaving away 50 years, with one day of the bank can lose all of that. He's not going to cry. He's not going to cry because of that. He's not going to be emotional because of that. He's not going to be angry because of that. Riba is haram. Why? Because of its oppressive nature. What is more oppressive than losing 50 years of your life just because the bank feels like they want to devalue the currency? 50 years of your life is gone. Is that not oppressive? Are you not going to cry because of that? If 50 years of all the hard work that you've done goes to 0, are you not going to cry? Is that not oppressive? What is more oppressive than that? But apparently, we need to look at student loans, and a student loan is haram. I don't care if he says it's halal. That guy says it's haram. They're always arguing and bickering over dumb, stupid things when they don't see how someone who's been working 50 years can lose all those 50 years in a single night. They don't care about that. They want to cry because debate and argue, but they will not face this issue. They will not face this issue. You can never take, wallahi, never take a single interest payment in your entire life and save it up for 50 years. Yeah? That 50 years can become 0 overnight. Whether your sheikh knows this, whether you know this, whether your granddad knows this, it doesn't matter, because that's the reality. That's the reality. Go and do research on Lebanon. I will implore you, go and do research on Lebanon's currency. What happened to Lebanese currency? What happened to Lebanese currency? Go and look it up. Millionaires became poor overnight. And the same thing can happen to your Great British Pound and your US dollar and your euros and your fiat currency. The same thing can happen just like it happened to Lebanon. The people are crying over things that are imaginary, but real life things over here, they don't want to discuss this. They don't want to speak about this. They don't want to talk about it. Wallah. you shocked? Why the Muslim Ummah is humiliated from all sides when people are bickering over something that has no value? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine why? You understand now why your Muslim brothers and sisters are humiliated and killed and they're displaced and their houses are destroyed? Do the ignorant people not know that the world that they see around them, yes, is a mirror image of the ignorance that is within them? Do they not see? Do they not see? Do they not see? Do they not see? That the world that is around them of humiliation is a mirror of the ignorance that is within them. Do they not see? Do they not see? Do they not see? Look, I'll show you how your Muslim brother is killed, okay? This is how your Muslim brother is killed. We start in Africa. We're going to go to Africa that has natural resources, okay? Natural minerals and resources, okay? We're going to steal by giving something that has no value, dollars. Remember, dollars has no value whatsoever. We're going to give something that has no value to something that has value. These minerals, these irons, these iron ore, all these gold and silver, all these things are real. They have real value behind them, okay? So then they're going to pay dollars that has no value to Africa. Then they're going to take all the natural resources. Then they will ship it. They will ship it all the way to America, the US, USA, okay? And then they're going to have like 10,000 people that are employees, that are all earning what? They're earning dollars, which has no value whatsoever. These are just slaves, human resources. You know, human resources, they need to manage these humans. You know, they might as well call it slave resources because you need to manage your slaves, okay? They got 10,000 employees that are all earning dollars, no value. They're just trying to, they're just trying to pay off their rent and they're just trying to buy some food because everything has been assigned a dollar to it. So these guys are going to be paid in dollars. And then they're going to go to the factory. They're going to go to the factory, and with all these minerals and the natural resources they've taken from Africa, they are now going to go to the factory, and then in the factory they're going to start to manufacture F-16 fighter jets. F-16 fighter jets. This is just an example of how it looks like. Okay, F-16 fighter jets. Yeah, F-16. Then that F-16 fighter jet, Israel is here. Okay? America is first going to give Israel, let's say $10 billion. Why? Because we just have to. We just have to. We're enslaved. We are enslaved to Israel. But Israel don't want the $10 billion because Israel knows the $10 billion is worth nothing. So then they are going to go to these companies that manufacture these F-16 fighter jets and they're going to go, how about you take this valueless, worthless dollar, okay, I will spit on it, okay, and you give me something that is real. Give me that F-16 fighter jet. Give me that F-16 fighter jet. So then that company is going to get the US dollars and the F-16 fighter jets are going to go to Israel. So now Israel, they're going to have IDF soldiers. IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces soldiers. Okay? What are they getting paid? They're getting paid in what is it called? Shekels or whatever it is. Whatever the fiat currency of Israel is, which is again valueless. Which is again worthless. It has no meaning. It has no value. So this soldier is now earning these shekels, he's earning this, whatever currency, Israeli currency it is, yeah? So he is going to fly the F-16 fighter jet. And the other Israeli soldier is going to load the F-16 fighter jet. What is he going to load it with? Bombs. And where did the bombs come from? America. And where did America get the natural resources from? They got it from Africa, or they got it from South America, or they got it from somewhere in the world that they got it from. So this soldier is loading the F-16 bombs, and he's loading the F-16 fighter jet. And then there's going to be a third, which is this guy, who's going to fly the jet. He's going to fly the jet. He's going to say, you know what? I've been told I need to go to Gaza. Okay, I need to go to Gaza. And on the radar, somewhere on the radar map, there's going to be some place there. I need to fire these missiles or these bombs in that location. So he's going to go, he's going to fly the jet, vroom, super fast, and then he's going to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. He doesn't know exactly how many people are in that area. He just knows that he's been commanded to drop the bomb in that area. But when you look into the area, there's houses and there's shops and there's businesses and there's cars driving by. The bomb is going to be dropped there, okay? It's going to kill the driver in the car. It's going to kill the child who's sleeping at home. It's going to kill the guy who's working in the shop trying to make money, okay? And it is going to kill the people that are there. So every single stage, it's the financial system. The one who dropped the bomb is getting paid the financial system. The one who's making the bomb is getting paid in the financial system. The one who's selling the materials to make the bomb is getting in the financial system. The one who's manufacturing it is getting paid in the financial system. You're crying because of riba and all these things, but you're not going to cry about the one thing that is behind every single aspect of killing your brothers and your sisters, and every single aspect of the media, every single aspect of propaganda, every single aspect of killing, dehumanizing, impoverishing, all these aspects. Every single aspect behind this has the financial system, but you are not going to cry because of that. You're not. Whether you like it or not, your country is dumb. I'll give you an example of how dumb some countries are. I'll give you an example of Saudi. You know, some people, they honor Saudi and they make them sound so smart. Saudi have oil. Nice, they've got nice oil. Oil is something which is very important. Oil is one of the foundations of energy in this world today. Your house needs it, your fridge needs it, your car needs it, the lorry that's going to deliver the food into your supermarket needs it, the bomb that's going to be dropped, the F-16 fighter jet to fly in the sky needs it. Oil is one of the most foundational and important energies in the world today. And that's what Saudi have. But then Saudi, they're going to give it to the USA. Or they're going to give it to China. Or they're going to give it to, not Russia. Russia's got their own. But they're going to give it to USA or China. And in return, they're going to get paid what? US dollars. US dollars. They're going to get paid in US dollars. They're going to get paid in US dollars. Something that has value and worth in this world today. Oil, this oil is going to be in everywhere. You cannot tell me that Saudi oil is not going to be used in F-16 fighter jets for Israel. There is no way in living daylights that you're going to tell me that there is no aspect of Saudi oil that's going to be involved in killing the Muslims. There is no aspect, whether you like it or not. And they're going to get the United States dollars that has no value. But then again, what they're going to do, they're somewhat smart, a little bit smart. With the US dollars, they're going to go buy F-16 fighter jets. They're going to buy fighter jets from America. Okay? But America, they're looking at these guys. They're like, listen, we know what you guys are doing. We are supposed to protect you. Yeah? We are supposed to protect you. We are the ones that are supposed to protect you. Don't worry. We'll give you little jets. We'll give you a few weapons. You can show these propaganda videos of your soldiers just jumping off buildings and all this nasheed in the background. We can make you seem as if you guys are like, ooh, you guys are a big army. But the reality is, you're struggling against Houthis that have barely sandals on, okay, you're struggling with the Houthis that have barely sandals on, but don't worry, we are going to protect you guys. We are supposed to protect you. We're going to protect you guys. Don't worry. We'll give you some F-16 fighter jets. We'll give you a few weapons. And, we'll teach you about propaganda techniques and how to make yourself look bigger than what you actually are. So, that's one country they played with. They play with Khaliji countries. They play with African countries. They play with South American countries. They play. Because I told you the whole financial system is one big game. And you really can't beat them. Because they have made this game. And they control this game. And they can influence this game to make themselves of a far better position than you. Now imagine, if the Federal Reserve wants to print 30 trillion, yeah, they can do that overnight. You earning 30 trillion is practically impossible. Mathematically impossible. You can't. It will take you how many thousands of years to make 30 trillion? What they can do overnight will take around thousands and thousands of years for you. Do you know why? Because the game mathematically is on their side. The game is on their side. You won't beat them at their game. That's why you have to leave the entire financial system. You leave their game and go to the real world, which is what? Gold, silver. That's the real world. The real world is gold and silver and real, valuable, tangible things. Minerals, houses, you name it, businesses, you name it. So how can the Muslims ever defeat these people when they are, number one, playing the game? Okay, number one, they're playing the game. Number two, they're stupid at the game. Number three, they endorse the game. How do they endorse the game? By building Islamic rulings upon it. Building Islamic rulings upon it. When you build Islamic rulings upon something, this legitimizes it in the mind of the masses. This legitimizes it in the minds of the masses. When someone keeps hearing Sheikh Fulan said, forex trading is haram because gold for gold, silver for silver, and he hears interest is haram on GBP and USD because of X, Y, and Z, he's going to start to think, the financial system, there isn't actually a problem on the financial system because Sheikh Fulan has told me there's these Islamic rulings. So he's going to think, financial system, it's okay, it's normal. But Sheikh Fulan is not going to teach you how the financial system is used to bomb your brothers and your sisters and your children. He's not going to tell you that because in reality, and I do not care who is insulted by it, he does not possess the knowledge and he is ignorant at best and he's evil at worst. He's ignorant at best or he's evil at worst. And I do not care who is insulted by the truth. You know what they say? They say, biting the flesh of the scholar is poison. Number one, you don't even know what a scholar is. You don't know what a scholar is. You don't know what knowledge is. You don't know what intellect is. You don't know what understanding is. You are a humiliation. And then you try to go out and say, if you bite the flesh of the flesh of the scholar is poisonous. We know what that means. We know who the scholar is. We know what the flesh of the scholar is. You don't. That's the difference. You think anyone who just talks and has got a beard and a great beard and he wears a shamar, okay, and he's on YouTube or someone's posted him on their stories, you think that person is a sheikh. You think that person is a sheikh. You think there's so much. He will write a whole list and 100 people. He says these are the 100 scholars today that are alive. 100, really, there's hundreds of scholars here. But out of those hundreds of scholars, I've not heard one talk about the foundational aspect of the financial system. Hundreds of scholars, but the Muslims are still going to be slaughtered, and they're still going to be killed, and they're still going to be misled, and they're still going to be distracted. Hundreds, you say, where are the hundreds? Name me those hundreds. I need to know where these hundreds are, because if those are truly scholars, why do they not speak the truth? What are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Are they afraid of bombs? Well, guess what? Your children are being bombed. So why are you scared? If you're scared of the bombs, your children are already being bombed. What are you scared of? If you're scared of the bombs, your wives are being bombed. Why are you scared? What are you scared of? If you're scared of death, you're going to die one day. So why are you scared? What is it that you're scared of? They say, oh, our scholars don't talk because, when they're silence, there's wisdom in their silence. Really? You know what? There's no wisdom in hearing the sounds of bombs dropping on children and killing your women folk and destroying their businesses and destroying your land. There is no wisdom in hearing that sound. But supposedly, there is wisdom in hearing the silence of those that are supposed to speak the truth. Supposedly, there's wisdom in that. Wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi. There is no wisdom in that whatsoever. There is only fear, humiliation, ignorance, and disgrace. There's nothing of honor and dignity with that. None whatsoever. Your shaykh keeps talking about riba. Riba is haram because it's oppressive. This is oppressive. Let him cry about this. For wallahi, the Muslim brother being killed is far less than one person engaging in riba and sleeping with his mother and his father and his granddad and the chair if he has to. It's worse for the Muslim to be killed and their blood to be spilled than all of these things. Do you not understand? Do you not understand? The Muslim is far honored than these little things that you argue about and you fight and you bicker about. But the disbeliever's laughing because he's got you bickering about things that really don't matter, or it's foundationally based on something that has no value. So whilst you're distracted and arguing on all of that, they're going to be on the real world playing this fake game of theirs, but they're going to get these real assets, real weapons, and kill your real brothers. Because guess what? The financial system might be a monopoly, but your brothers and your sisters that are being killed, that is not a game, okay? Their blood being spilled, that's not a game. People being misled because of the media and propaganda, that's not a game. That's real life. Understand that. It's real life. That's the issue. That's why the Muslims are where they are today. Forex trading is haram. Why? Because your shaykh legitimized it in your mind. When something becomes legitimized, you think, you know what, there's no issue. There is no issue. If there's no issue, they are telling you there's no issue with your Muslim brothers being killed. There's no issue with that financial system being behind every single aspect of bomb making to drop on your brothers and your sisters. Every single aspect to pay the soldiers the salary, to pay the... You get me? There's no issue. There's no issue. Yeah, there's no issue. There's no issue in children dying. There's no issue in businesses being destroyed and land being broken up. There's no issue. There's no issue whatsoever. There is no issue whatsoever. But I have a big issue. I have a humongous issue. I have a large issue. What I would say to you Muslims is, number one, if you can, don't play the game. Don't play the game. But not many people can do that because the masses have already been mentally deceived. There's so much deception in this illusion. The image has been painted into the minds of this glorious thing that is not even existing. So hopefully we will open the minds of the people concerning this illusion, this lie, this deception, this thing that's not even a thing. Don't play the game if you can, if you can't. Number two, if you're going to play the game, don't be stupid at the game. Don't be stupid at the game. Learn how the game operates. Learn how the game operates. And to learn how the game operates, you need to learn how the banks operate. Okay? When the bank is going to be, benefiting from inflation, which the masses don't benefit from, you need to ask yourself, why is the bank benefiting? And if I'm going to play this game of theirs, how about I do the same thing the bank does? If you want to play this game, play the game like the bank does. Don't be stupid at it. If you're going to be evil in the best of ways. If you're going to be a gangster in the best of ways. If you're going to be a criminal in the best of ways. Don't be stupid at it. If you've already chosen that path, you might as well not be stupid at it. You might as well be the best at it. So ask yourself, how does the bank operate? Does the bank do this? If the bank does that, do it. Do it. Do it. Why? Because if you operate like how the bank operates, you'll be safe from a lot of agendas. A lot of agendas. Not all of it, because remember, they can print 1 trillion in one night. You can't do that. But a lot of their agendas is targeted towards the masses who don't understand how the banks operate, who don't understand how the financial system works, who do not know that it's an illusion, who just go out and just work for it, and they will never ever think about anything else because their sheikh has legitimized it for them in their mind. That is who the agendas are targeted towards. Not those who play like the bank does. Because the bank is going to make rules and systems and laws that favor them. And it's going to favor them, and you play the same game as they play, and it's going to favor you. That is it. That is it. If you're going to play the game, don't be stupid at the game. These people that tell you there's going to be riba involved, tell them, is fiat currency a thing? Does it have worth? No and no. How are you talking to me about something so great, okay, based on something that's nothing? Debt. You're going to say debt. You can't have debt. Debt is bad. You can't get debt. Number one, debt is the foundation of this financial system. The Americans wanted to manipulate their debt that they owed to others. That's why they left the gold standard. The foundation of this is debt. The more debt you are in, the better you're playing the game. Because the banks are in debt. And the banks don't want to lose, and they don't want to what? They don't want to be harmed. The banks are in so much debt. The live is going to end in 1 hour and something, and I'm 1 minute and something, and I'm going to restart, and I'll end it here.